LeBron, he's always going to come into the season as the favorite because of what he's capable of doing. And what he's done, he should be a unanimous MVP now. Number one in QBR, number one in touchdown passes, number one in passing yards, first in yards per game passing, first in total offense, first in points scored, set an NFL record for the most offensive yards in NFL history, broke Drew Brees' record yesterday in a single season. I don't really, he locked up the number one seed for the third time in his young career. The other two times he's been the two seed. And he did all of this without a guy. I believe Tyreek Hill is the most dangerous player regardless of position. He's the most dangerous. He's the most electrifying. He strikes the most fear in an opponent.
I'll buy that.
He lost over 1,700 receiving yards, and he went out there and led the league in passing. He led the league in every offensive statistical category that's meaningful and matters. So with that being said, Skip, it's a no-brainer for me. I don't think it's going to be close now because nobody's close in passing touchdowns, nobody's close in passing yards, no one is close in total yards. And the QBR is off the charts. He's won across the board, so he will be the 2022 MVP.
Look, if we're just talking about Star Wars offense numbers, I cannot compete. And I can't argue with one number that you spat out about this because those are all sensational. And I do agree Tyreek was a huge loss, and I did think he would struggle some without Tyreek. And maybe he struggled a little, but not a lot.
Right.
He still has the best pass-catching tight end ever, and even you have acknowledged that.
Oh, yeah.
And so that helped that he had a cornerstone. He had somebody he could lean on.
And he took the guy that you didn't even want no more. You didn't like Justin, what's the guy?
Watson.
Justin Watson.
Justin
Watson. You see Justin Watson on Saturday?
Ivy League.
Did you see him on Saturday?
Yeah, it's my favorite line of the year. Mahomes said in the OTAs, he said, "Who's that white guy? He can run, right?
He can run.
He can run. Okay, so he did that. I'm not going to give up on Jalen Hurts because this is just me. It will be a crime if Jalen Hurts doesn't win MVP, and I don't like his chances because it's usually a numbers game. And I can't do numbers with Jalen Hurts. I can do intangibles. I thought the year belonged to Jalen Hurts. He went 12-1 as the starting quarterback of the Eagles. And even you agreed the one loss was at home to Washington. I believe it was on a Monday night.
Yeah.
And the three plays that turned the game were not Jalen's fault. Remember, even down to the Quez Watkins play where he had to go to his knees to catch the football, and then he got up and got it stripped.
Yep.
Okay, so I did first guess this because the moment he was drafted, I said the Eagles just stole Jalen Hurts in the second round, and he will change life in that franchise.
He has?
Because he's the counter opposite, the polar opposite of Carson Wentz because he's a natural-born leader.
Correct.
He has the highest football character. His father was his high school coach. And the team wants to follow him because they believe in him. They believe in him in the weight room and on the sideline and in the huddle. They know he's going to make plays for them. They're not always conventional plays. But the job he did to turn himself into a very good thrower of the football when you had your doubts about him, which was certainly obvious, the issues that he was facing early on, could he throw it well enough to win somewhat from the pocket in this league? The answer is a big yes. This year. He showed you again and again, I can do this. Because nobody saw this coming, obviously they had a good team. They went and got him AJ, which is a soulmate receiver of his. But he still did that from the start. He seized control not only of my division, but of this conference. And they wound up with the NFC East crown in a year it was pretty loaded because it turned from the least to the beast. That was a hard division to conquer, and he conquered it. And they're the one seed in the conference. And I got it. They're the one seed on the other side.
Right.
And I give you all that. But what this man did for that franchise is against all odds, where he became the driving force. What Mahomes is doing, he's been doing, and he did it, and he did it, and he did it again.
And I think that's what we take for granted.
Okay. All right, there's some
he's
taking for granted.
He's one win away from getting his fifth AFC Championship game.
Jordan-esque. We're back to, could Michael have won the MVP every year? I assume you could have made a case every year. And after a while, you just say, well, Okay, but what about him?
We find ways, Skip. If you look at Mahomes, 2 of his top producers at wide receiver, 3 of his top 4, and 4 of his top 6 weren't even on the team last year. So he's taking guys, Valdez Scantling, Juju, Justin Watson. Skip, these guys weren't even there. And he's doing that with these guys. And he lost, like I said, he lost Tyreek. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, Skip, Tyreek's not going to have 1,700. But I like to think that maybe he'd have 1,400, 1,500. So you tack on another 200, 300, 400 yards to what his total is, he's going to blow the record out of the water.
Okay, I got it. But yesterday, like Mahomes on Saturday, threw for 202. It was decent.
Right.
He was
but
good.
they ran the ball better than they have it in.
They have. They did. But yesterday was a big deal for Jalen Hurts to play in that football game because they needed their leader back just to say, okay, albeit against Davis Webb and the backups for the Giants. But Nick Sirianni, the Eagles coach, said after the game, I know Jalen was hurting and he was hurting bad, but that's the kind of competitor he is. That's the kind of person he is. That's the kind of teammate and leader that he is, to be able to go out there and tough it out. I believe he did tough it out,
question.
but I don't know for sure because I always tell you, I don't know how hurt your shoulder is.
Skip, if you look at the way he was throwing the ball, he wasn't throwing the ball like he did earlier.
Didn't look good to me.
No.
Did not look good.
No.
Okay, and even so, he did throw for 229. He didn't throw for 109. He threw for 229. It was good enough to get them through a game that they absolutely had to win.
Yes.
As far as going into the game, you thought you got to go win this game. All right? And he did. I'm going to show you one throw that he threw to his friend AJ, just to show you. He did suck it up and make a throw like this. Again, 229 is not the lowest. Okay? So
that's a big time throw.
All right? All right. I'll take it. I'll take it. It just shows me he got out there and he did what he had to do, and they didn't run him at all. And it takes some away from their rushing attack because you don't have to honor him off the edge anymore doing his read options. So I don't know. Now they get their 2 weeks to get ready, and I don't know. He's now become Lamar Jackson is the big X factor on one side, but he now becomes the biggest X factor on the other because I don't know if he's going to be able to get right.
And see, the thing, getting right, Skip, but he was in such a rhythm. The way he was orchestrating this offense, and then you go 2 weeks interrupted, and now you're about to go another 2 weeks, so you're going to only play one meaningful game in about 5, 2 meaningful games in 5 weeks. That's a lot of time to miss when quarterbacks, so much of what they do is on rhythm. And then when you look at also Mahomes, Skip, they're number 1 in total offense, number 1 in points scored. That's a lot of number ones for you not to win the MVP. Like I said, I think now it's going to be unanimous. I thought it was going to probably come down to between him and Jalen, and I think with Jalen missing those 2 games, I think he's out now, so I think Mahomes will win the award unanimously.
I almost wish there could be an AFC MVP and an NFC MVP because I don't think there would be any issue on that. I believe they would be the MVPs of their conferences, but